All right, Thanksgiving week is over. It's always a weird one because
Mhm.
we have like three games Thanksgiving, then we had one weird one on Friday, and then we have like five or six on Sunday.
Mhm.
But I know you want to get a few things off your chest, so the floor is yours, Brian.
Yeah, well, we'll start with just real quick. I like the Black Friday game. I know it was new last year, 2 years ago, I believe. I like that. It's a nice addition, just something to do when you're not working, you're just kind of hanging out. It was kind of nice. Just it's 2 o'clock or whatever it was. Game's on. But yeah, anyway, we'll go ahead and dig the grave now, just because we can get it over with. We don't have to talk about this team ever again. I'm kind of glad it happened. Knew the team was bad all along. Like they're just not good. So now I don't have to worry about it anymore. My hopes are shattered for any sort of playoff run. If they made the playoffs, it wasn't going to happen anyway. They weren't going to beat anybody. Bengals, we can finally say the Bengals are dead. They are officially hit dead status. And you know what? It's frustrating. It's sad. Probably one of the most disappointing years as a Bengals fan as I can ever remember. Another game where you score over 38 points and you lose. You are now 1-7 in one score games, and that one win you had was against the Browns when you were up 14 with about 20 seconds left and they scored. So technically, probably it wasn't even really a one score game because they scored in the last waning seconds just to make it a one score game.
Garbage time, yeah.
Garbage time. So 1-7 in one score games, which to me that's a coaching stat. So I'm just gonna read off some stats real quick, and then we'll just hop through it. We're gonna read off some stats. Bengals when scoring 33 plus points, 4-1 or 1-4. Sorry, they've won one game, lost four. That's insane. 1-7 in one score games, which I already said. They are scoring an average of 28.25 points per game in those one score games. So they're averaging almost 29 points per game in one score games, those 8 one score games, and they're 1-7. That
That's
is
crazy.
fucking insane. They have 4 losses when scoring 30 plus or more points. The rest of the NFL combined has 3. When teams score over 33 points this year, the NFL is 51-1. The Bengals are 1-4. So that's okay. We're just gonna keep going real quick. Bengals losses this season: 2 with 38 plus points, second most by any team in NFL history. 3 with 34 or more points, tied most by any team in NFL history. 4 losses with scoring 33 or more points, most by any team ever. And 6 with 25 points or more, most by any team ever. And there's still 5 weeks left in the season. Like, that is unbelievable. It doesn't make sense. It is just an absolute joke of a season. I don't think you can bring back Luann Rumen, your defensive coordinator, with how they performed. And obviously there's been some times, but the offense hasn't performed where they've needed to close out some of these games. But when your defense, you know, only forces one stop, one punt a game, it's hard to kind of keep up. Your offense has to be perfect. I did see another stat. Joe Burrow has 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions this year through 12 games. It's only happened like 5 times in NFL history that someone has done that. The other 4 have all won MVP and their teams got the 1 seed. So it's just unbelievably. I don't know what else to say. Like it's embarrassing. It's frustrating for Joe.
I think out of those quarterbacks too, the lowest amount of wins was 9 through this.
Yeah, or it was through this period. Yeah, like 9-2 or 9-3 or something.
Yeah.
And here the Bengals are at 4-8. A lot of changes need to be made, and the problem is there's so many changes that need to be made on the defensive side. It's not going to happen in 1 year. Like you can't fix all the problems they have in 1 year. So they're dead. They're not going anywhere. I'm at the point where maybe it's time to shut players down. Anyone with an injury, shut them down. Just the worst thing that can happen now is Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase suffers some sort of Achilles, ACL, serious injury that requires like surgery, offseason rehab. Probably too early to shut everyone down just because there's still 4 or 5 weeks left in the season. But I think if you get a tweak or something, come out of the game, it just sucks. But it is what it is. The joys of being a Bengals fan. Curse season, bad luck, bad defense. Offense is great, and we'll see you next year. Yeah, that's about it.
I mean, and the offense is going to get potentially worse with losing T. Higgins too, so that doesn't
Yeah.
help. And then I was going to ask you, but you kind of gave me a hint earlier. Are you going to watch Hard Knocks or
No, I refuse to watch it.
not at
I
all?
can't. Nope, can't watch it. I saw a couple clips that I saw Joe Burrow bought the Batmobile for $3 million, which is insane. But I saw clips. There's only so much I can watch. I'm not kidding. I've thought about deleting social media. That's where I'm at from a mentality standpoint.
Brian,
I get invested. I mean, you know me. I get invested in stuff, and
I
it's been one of those
mean,
years that
you gotta find some. I mean, at least you have a guy.
Yeah, no, and that's the good news. You should be able to win just because you have him this season again. And the defense is bad, but it's also been a lot of bad luck, right? Fumbles at the wrong time, dropped field goals, penalties, 4th and 19 penalties, just like
Here we go.
weird shit has happened. So it's a mix of all of it, but I do think a lot of it comes down to coaching. When you're 1-7 in one score games, really 0-7 in one score games, that has to be coaching. Like that, there's something not right from what they're preaching, what they're teaching. I know it's hard to fire Zach Taylor when his offense that he's leading is putting up kind of historically good numbers, but at the end of the day, it all falls on him. So I don't know what they're going to do. Like I said, a couple weeks ago, I think we're more likely to have a statue of Zach Taylor put outside the stadium than him get fired this year. But I think there's going to be a lot of changes in the organization in terms of defensive side of the ball. So I expect them to bring in some sort of defensive veteran, defensive coordinator, maybe like a Robert Saleh type of guy.
Wow,
so
your boy.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, hey, we need something. You need to do something different. 9 of their last 10 first through third round draft picks have been defensive players. So it's like you have all these young guys from the last 3 years. None of them have been developed. Yeah, you let some star players walk, which I do think is part of the problem. You need to pay the players that are good that you draft. But their last 3 years, 9 defensive players taking the first 3 rounds. Like there's a problem somewhere with development or scouting or something. It's not working. So Bengals officially dead. We can bury them and be done with them. And somehow they're 6-point favorites this week.
I saw that.
Vegas can't quit them, and they need to let it go, just like I'm letting it go. They just need to let go of the dream.
Wow, that was amazing. I wish I could have added this to my my speech at your wedding, the 2024 season. And for those who don't know, the end of my speech was basically telling his wife, I can't imagine what you've been through after each Bengals season and the heartbreak loss. And this definitely, the fact that there's 5 weeks left.
Can't believe there's 5 weeks. Like I'm drained. I'm done.
Are
I
you
can't do
gonna
it.
watch on one day?
No, I'm gonna watch. Of course, I'm still gonna watch. But the
You're gonna
good
bet
news
on
is, oh yeah, I'll bet on it, of course. But now that we're at the point where it's over, that emotional investment isn't so much there anymore. Now you're just hoping you don't get injuries. Honestly, like we talked about the whole tanking thing. I don't think you can actually tank. Like it's really, really hard to actually tank.
Yeah.
But the losses won't hurt as bad just because hey, they're improving their draft stock.
You can just run the ball every time.
Yeah, and I do think they're going to do that. I think Joe Burrow is going to tone it back a little bit. He was kind of playing hero ball, taking a lot of big hits, and I think that's going to definitely get toned back. It's going to be more of a generic vanilla offense, and if they win, great. If not, hey, let's get a top 12 pick. We just need I was thinking about this, and it sucks. I'm already doing mock drafts and looking at mock drafts. Like it's so sad. It's December. It's not even Christmas. I'm looking at mock drafts. They need so many things on the defensive side of the ball. Like it doesn't even matter what position they take. They could take any position besides linebacker probably, but literally you could take any position. Usually you know what you need going into a draft. Like, hey, there's 2 positions we're weak at. You could take defensive tackle, defensive end, corner, safety. You could take linebacker. I don't think there's a linebacker good enough to take in the top 15. You need wide receiver. You could take O-line. You could literally take any position besides quarterback. Probably.
How about they trade their future first and their first this year and trade up for Travis Hunter?
I probably won't do it, but God, I just don't know what position he's going to play. Probably corner.
I heard someone say that he should play full-time corner and then come in
Specialty
some
packages.
kind of package, some kind of package on offense. I mean that'd be pretty cool.
Like it's kind of like Deion Sanders a little bit.
Exactly like Deion Sanders.
Yeah. I would do it.
I mean, hey, you never know. There's no way they would ever make that kind of a trade because it's the Bengals and they only do boring stuff and they only play boring football. And then when it's not boring, they lose every game. So
I was gonna say it's not boring this year. It's definitely not boring.
I know, but I know I mean, my whole life I watched it. Like I've said before in this podcast, I grew up. I went to every Bengals game. We had season tickets, and I was fully invested. Primarily through the Carson Palmer era, end of John Kidna era, but once I got rid of Palmer and that whole situation, I was already
done.
All in on the Eagles. So
good for you that you could escape and leave. I will forever. You know that meme of like Interstellar where he's like banging on the wall trying to get through, like he's watching himself like walk out the door. Like that's what I want to do to like my parents when they took me to my first Bengals game.
Yeah. Well, that's hilarious. Anyway, wow, that was good. Okay, that was the last 8 minutes you're gonna hear about the Bengals unless they upset somebody late in the season. But or if there's a major injury,
or something.
knock on wood.
But another team that's dead while we're on dead teams.
Can I guess it?
Yeah.
49ers.
Yeah, 49ers are dead.
Let's go. Yeah, I think so too. Why?
Yeah. There's so many reasons. Like the injuries are insane this year, and that's when they had a down year a few years ago. It was the same thing. It was injuries. Christian
I feel like
McCaffrey.
they've always kind of been known for this like weird fluky injury stuff.
Yeah, and it feels like it happens to them. Like obviously they've been super successful the last 3 or 4 years, but I feel like they had the same exact season like 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember what year it was, but it was the year they ended up with Nick Bosa. Yeah, it was the year they ended up with Nick Bosa. I think that was the year Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, maybe, where he tore his ACL. And they won like 3 games. They ended up with the second pick and got Nick Bosa. So it feels very reminiscent of that. Brock Purdy does not look nearly as good as he did last year without some of these weapons that he has. Christian McCaffrey obviously came back for like 2 games and massive injury scare. I think there was some Achilles videos going around, but it turned out to be a PCL. And then Jordan Mason went down, and I didn't even realize he got hurt until afterwards. They put him on IR. I was like, what the hell?
Well, I saw Garendo was like projected like 13 points this week, and I'm like, why is he? And then I looked into it. I'm like, oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So I mean, obviously that's a big part of it. Trent Williams hasn't been playing. Brandon Ayuk already got hurt. They got some defensive injuries on the defensive side of the ball.
Kittle's
and they just got
in and out.
Yeah, Kittle's been in and out. They got Debo's a shell of himself. We talked about that last week. He's kind of like,
why is he returning kicks and punts?
I don't know. I think they're probably just trying to get some sort of explosiveness anywhere because they can't really generate much on offense.
Jeez.
But they got blown out their last 2 weeks by 2 good teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just not something you see from the 49ers. I think the morale's gone, and people are calling for Kyle Shanahan's job, which is just nuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That's crazy. That guy would get a job immediately
anywhere. He could pick. Yeah. He could pick anywhere.
Same with John Lynch. They're calling for John Lynch as well, and he would be, the next guy up anywhere. So
yeah.
you can't. I think that's ridiculous. That's kind of like what was going on with I'm blanking on the name. Detroit's
Ben
coach.
Johnson.
No, their head coach.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah. When he started off like 0-10, people were calling for his job, and now look, they're arguably the best team in the league.
Yeah, and it's just. And I think the only thing that would make sense for the 49ers if they were going to move off of Kyle Shanahan was if they get like a Ben Johnson, younger and who has like another. But that's what I mean. It's like you're kind of replacing something that you already have.
Younger, isn't Kyle Shanahan like 43?
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson's like 34. That's
crazy.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it just sounds like a lateral move.
That's what I mean. It's like it just doesn't make sense. He's 38. So yeah, I think it's asinine. He's a great coach, and you sometimes again you go through this. You have injuries and you have bad luck. That's why it's so hard to get back every single year. And that's why what the Chiefs did, Patriots did, and what the 49ers have been doing was unprecedented. 49ers dead.
I agree.
Brock Purdy struggling. Brock Purdy also just struggling without.
He's
also hurt.
Yeah, he also struggled last year when he didn't have Trent Williams, Debo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they went through their like 3-game losing streak or whatever.
Yeah. But you know who else is like kind of struggling that I've started to hear more people talking about this, but like the Detroit Lions defense is like there's like 4 guys, like main guys hurt. You haven't seen anything about this?
No.
Yeah, they keep losing people. I mean, no one's really worried about them because their offense is so good and their defense has been pretty good. But I think they lost. I don't know who they lost this week, but
I know DJ Reader's out this week. Yeah, DJ Reader's out this week. I did see that. They do have like 3, now that you say it, for the Packers game this week, right? They're down 3 or 4 players. Yeah.
Yeah. So
short week, which sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you want it to happen now if if guys are week to week or day to day, but that's just, sneaky stuff. Pat McAfee likes to joke around with JJ Watt because JJ Watt came out and said he's going to be in shape, like football shape, for 1 more year. And they're joking around saying he's going to go play for the Lions for the last half of the season.
He should.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be sweet. He should.
That would be pretty cool.
They need a defensive end.
Yeah, but that Packers Lions game this Thursday night, there's nothing better when like the Thursday night game is actually good.
Yes, especially around like this time of year where it's like it's December, you're getting towards the playoff time, holidays, like
there's teams that are way out of it, so like half the games don't really matter.
Correct. To have a game that means something, what's the spread on that game?
I think it's Packers like -3.5.
Is it Packers 3.5? Is it in Lambeau?
Is it Packers 3.5?
No, it's Lions -3 because it's in Detroit. Which honestly, I'm surprised it's Lions -3. So that means neutral field that they would be.
Yeah,
they would be.
I think they're accounting for some of those losses on defense, and the Packers have looked pretty good.
I'm definitely taking that over 51.5. Just
Really.
because. Yeah, just because. It's gonna be fun. I just want to see points, man. Points. Which
Mhm.
we'll get some bets out there on X, which will
Also,
be
your Chiefs snuck away again. What's
yeah,
going on
that's
with that?
not my Chiefs. Fucking hate the Chiefs. Yeah, dude, I
What's
don't
go?
there's some sort of weird voodoo black magic shit going on with the Chiefs. Like they had like again, they won the game, so you can't really knock them because it's a win, and that's what we preached on this show the entire time: is good teams find a way to win. But some of these, like, it's getting to the point where it's like, all right, they've set an NFL
Oh,
record with
ridiculous.
15 one-score games in a row that they've won. 15, like that's insane. Going all the way back to last year, that whole penalty at the end, like I don't think I know there was some people upset with the penalty at the end because they didn't blow the play dead, but then they still awarded them the fumble. Based on the rules and kind of what I looked into, it was the correct call to give them the ball, because if it's like under 2 minutes and you get an illegal motion, you let the play run
Yeah.
out. But if it's over 2 minutes, you run the play dead. I don't know why that's the rule, but that's the rule.
There's so many little
Yeah.
rules. I feel like every year I learn about, and like this year, I've never seen more um, illegal formations ever.
Yeah. That's one they're
Ever.
pushing hard. That's one they're pushing hard this year for
It's
sure.
insane. Like
Yeah.
like usually when they blow the play dead right away, oh, false start. But it's illegal formation, or they'll let it play through, like you just said. And I feel like it's not as consistent as like under 2 minutes or over 2 minutes. It's just kind of whenever they feel. And so you think it's, maybe the defense hopped off sides. And I feel like it just keeps happening more and more. But there was like a Chiefs offensive lineman who really took advantage of that rule last year. And that's why they're
Mhm.
kind of
But
highlighting it.
even that's been sporadic. Like it depends on what refs are calling the game, because it
Yeah.
doesn't change. And then like one game that's not being called, and you're like, as a fan, you watch it, like, all right, they're not going to call that little like early jump that a lot of the tackles do. And then the Bengals Steelers game, they were calling it. It was like it's one of the flag happiest crews in the NFL, and I think the Bengals left tackle and Brown got called on it like 3 times, and it's like that's depends on what crew you get, but it just the Chiefs, man. I was watching that game and I was pumped for Aiden O'Connell. I was like, hell yeah, Aiden! Like, go do like this like game winning
You
drive.
weren't pumped for him. You just want to see the Chiefs burn.
Yes, of course, of course. And I just wanted them to lose, and it just sucks, man. And it doesn't suck. Like, good for them, they won the game, but I just don't get it. The amount of ways they're winning these games is insane. You had a toe in week 1 out of bounds. You had the 4th and 16 against the Bengals penalty that puts you in field goal range. You had the blocked field goal against the Broncos, like a 36-yarder. You have this fumble when they're in field goal
Yeah,
range to end the game.
it's crazy.
I know I'm missing a couple other ones. Oh, the penalty in the Falcons game where they got away with a massive pass interference on Kyle Pitts in the end zone with like 10 seconds left in the game on 4th down. Like it's unbelievable, and they're gonna do it again. I can feel it. Like, they're definitely not the best team in the NFL. Like, I would put them
No,
below Lions,
they're probably fourth.
Eagles. I would put them below Lions, Eagles,
Bills.
Bills, and then I would probably put them below like maybe the Packers. Like,
I would say they're in that. They're on that tier.
yeah, that 4, 5, 6 range. But they're gonna do it. I just know it. They're gonna find a
It's
way.
just like it's really tough to put them below Jordan
Yeah,
Love.
that's true.
Because they still have Patrick Mahomes. I understand what you're saying, but the Patrick Mahomes thing, it's just like, and they just
Yeah,
keep finding a way. And yes, they
yeah,
don't look good, and they never cover the fucking spread,
never.
even against
I did see that too. They're like
Carolina.
1-8.
They don't ever cover the spread.
Yeah. I don't think
But
I've taken the Chiefs all year in any bet, if I'm being honest.
I did once, and it was
I
against the
remember that. You took
Panthers.
them. You took them
It was against the
minus what?
Panthers.
Minus 11 against the Panthers.
Yeah, they won by 3.
Yeah,
Last second field goal or something dumb. But
it was last second field goal. Yep.
yeah, man, I was gonna ask you about a game and I just completely forgot about it. Falcons,
Yep.
they
Bad.
stink.
Well, I think I sent you that. I love. They stink.
They're not
I
good.
sent you. I think I sent you that tweet. In the last 3 games, Kirk Cousins has 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I've been seeing people on Twitter calling for Penix, which blows my mind because they could still win the division and get home field or get like a home playoff game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane.
I do think.
I mean, that division's so bad.
I do wonder if the Penix pick was partially because, yeah, They're in first right now in their division, which is nuts. I do think that the Penix pick makes a little bit more sense now that we've seen Kirk Cousins. Like, he started off very slow, went through a nice 3 or 4 game stretch there, but he's kind of crashed back down to earth. That pick six he threw was it was like 4th and 5,
Yeah,
was
I saw it.
a like lollipop, like look
Cop
like
out. Yeah.
yeah, it looked like a freshman in high school threw that ball with how much zip was on that ball. Like,
Right into the defender's hands.
it was so late. It came out of his hands so late. It was such a bad throw. And you wonder if that has anything to do with the Achilles. Like, if he's getting tired, the season's wearing on him and he's breaking down a little bit, he's obviously 36, 37, coming off that Achilles injury, and it feels like it might be done. And he's got 3 years left on his contract.
Yeah, guaranteed 100 million.
Yeah.
I think teams are done paying over 35-year-olds post Achilles surgery.
I did see like some chart. The worst 2 quarterbacks like over the last 4 or 5 weeks are, and they called them like the Achilles brothers. It was Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it's a little different than Sonic and Knuckles.
Yes,
up in
yes,
Detroit.
very different, very different.
Man, that's brutal.
But yeah,
they look bad. And yeah, I just like that division. Like now the Bucks, I wouldn't even say they're in the driver's seat because they barely beat the Panthers.
mm-hmm.
They
It was a
went
good
in
game.
overtime,
Mm-hmm.
and the Panthers had like 8 chances to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just don't even know where to even look. Like go ahead.
So real quick, I'm gonna say something very good about the Panthers for the first time all season. I know we've talked shit about the Panthers, but I want to
I'm
give the
pumped for
Panthers.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, I want to give the Panthers some kudos. I do think that benching he took in the middle of the year for that 4 or 5 games, like I think it helped. Like, he looks like a different player out there. Like, just from the way he physically looks, like mindset wise, happiness wise. I think that's a big part. You got to play with confidence, right? In any sport, if you're not confident, you're not going to perform. I think Carolina, like to your point, the last couple of weeks they've been close and lost to the Bucks and the Chiefs. They're one of those
2
teams,
good
like
teams.
they're not a good team, so like they're not going to find they're not going to. This is good learning for them to find ways to win, and honestly, it's probably better that they lose to get a better draft pick. So like to be in these games, be competitive. Yeah, you want to win them for like your culture and your morale. But as they get better, they'll learn how to play games. And I actually think this is the best case scenario for Panthers. Bryce Young looks like he is the core, like he's playing better than CJ Stroud, and a lot of those narratives are kind of starting to even themselves out over compared to last year. The best case scenario was that you knew you weren't going to make the playoffs, but as long as Bryce Young developed and performed better like he has the last 4 or 5 weeks, and you continue this for the rest of the year, you can go into next year confident with him being your quarterback and kind of reset and rebuild, and you at least have that cornerstone to go off of. Yeah, you might not be a top 5, top 10 quarterback right now, but if you can throw out a top half of the NFL quarterback, you give yourself a chance. So just want to give the Panthers some props, and Bryce Young, it's good to see him playing well because it just felt terrible for those last year and beginning this year.
He's not a bust now because there were talks about how they were going to trade him and people were going to trade for him when they benched him, and now it was a good thing they didn't. I mean, obviously those are like bullshit, accusations and stuff, but yeah, he's not a bust for now. That team is so bad. Like everything around him besides Chuba Hubbard is terrible. And Adam
Thielen, man, he's a stud.
Yeah, he's 34. He's obviously not part of the future, but I mean, like, he had 2 touchdowns or 1 got called back.
One got called back that shouldn't have. It was an unbelievable catch where he got his knee in bounds. Yeah. But he had that nice catch in overtime where Chuba ended up fumbling that lost him the game because they got down like the 30. But he had that like spinning one-handed catch that was sick.
No, I like Adam Thielen.
I love awesome. Adam Thielen. Yeah. So yeah, I just want to give some kudos to them. And Bucks, again, hey, they kept themselves alive. They're in a playoff hunt. I think that you have to win that division to make the playoffs. I don't think either of those teams are going to make the playoffs if they don't win the division.
It's kind of crazy that division and like the Seahawks Arizona division, I don't think anyone would have said 10 games you're going to win that division if you win 10 games.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like the 49ers are coming in. I'm pretty sure their over/under was 10.5.
Yeah, it's probably 10.5.
Yeah. So it's just kind of wild. As the season goes on and all this stuff happens, you never really know what's happening. But yeah, I mean those 2 divisions are just up in the air, especially with the Rams beating the Saints, kind of bringing that closer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure, are they 6-6?
The Rams.
The Rams, are they 6-6? They are, yeah, 6-6. Rams are 6-6. Cardinals 6-6. Seahawks 7-5, and the Cardinals and Seahawks play each other this week.
That'll be a good game.
The Rams play the Bills, which is going to be a tough one. But
well, you got to think two of the wild card teams are going to be Vikings and Packers. Like there's no doubt about it. And then the other one's probably Commanders right now.
Yeah,
8-5. Is that who's in the spot right now?
Let me check.
I would assume it's the Commanders.
Yeah, Commanders, Vikings,
Commanders.
Packers, Commanders, and
yeah,
no other teams making it unless they win their division.
Yeah, because you got
Bucks, Cardinals both 6-6, Rams 6-6.
Yeah, you
Niners,
got then
4-7,
Buccaneers, Falcons.
5-7.
Yeah, the Commanders really need to fall off. They're game and a half up, so yeah, they would really need to kind of crash out to not make the playoffs. But yeah, NFC looks loaded. Eagles.
I was gonna say let's talk about it.
Yeah, how'd you feel?
So I actually was talking to some friends the last couple of days, and we were having group chat arguments on who's going to win the MVP and who's the best team in the league right now. And I kind of laid it out basically position by position, some by groups, some by individuals. And the only thing I came away from with the Eagles versus the Lions being the best team in the league is coaching. I think the Lions are better coached. I like Sirianni. I've been on the Sirianni thing all year when people were calling for his job. Even on here, I just don't get it. He's winning. Like I feel like people are just like hating, and it's Philly. And if you don't win by 30, I guess like they're mad. But do you agree with that? Because I think Goff and Hurts are a toss-up. They both do completely different things. So it's, and then you have Gibbs and Montgomery versus Saquon. And Saquon, out of those three, I'd rather have Saquon.
Yeah.
And you have A.J. Brown versus St. Brown. I'd rather have A.J. Brown. Also, A.J. Brown has played in 9 games this year. He's 9-0.
Yeah, it's
quick stat.
Yeah, that's
Devontae Smith, when he's healthy, I'd take him over Jameson Williams. Dallas Clark, Sam Laporta coming off the knee injury, hasn't been playing great off like when it comes to like catching the ball and scoring touchdowns. But Dallas Goedert, when he's playing great. He seems like a very reliable safety blanket. So I think that could be a toss up with an edge to Laporta, in my opinion. And then both offensive lines are great. Then defense, I'd give it to the Eagles, especially now because of the injuries, but their defensive line is unbelievable. And then you have all these young corners who are playing unreal, and they're calling them the DeJean and God, who's the other white guy who's on the Eagles? Anyway, they're calling themselves the Exciting Whites.
Yeah, so, I love that. They wearing those T-shirts.
Yeah,
I need to get me one of those T-shirts. Those are hilarious.
So yeah, I just think I think they are the best team in the league, but the edge that the Lions have is coaching.
So, okay, so you do think Dan Campbell's a better coach?
Yeah.
So
and Ben Johnson and who's their defensive coordinator? Is that Aaron Glenn?
Yeah, Aaron Glenn. Yeah. So the coaching thing, I'll start there. I didn't know this, but I saw a stat this week, and I don't think a lot of people know this, but it's only been this is Sirianni's 4th season, maybe 5th, somewhere in that range, 4 or 5.
4th, I think.
4th. He is the regular season record percentage wise winningest coach in NFL history. So he has the best. Crazy. Yeah, and no one thinks about that because they were calling
he's been to a Super Bowl.
Right, and he's been to a Super Bowl because they're calling for his head last year at the end of the season because the end of the season ended so poorly. They started 10-1 or whatever it was, 10-2, and the season kind of fell apart. I think people saw that coming last year, but it's nuts to me. How do you fire a guy who is considered the winningest coach in NFL history right now?
It's kind of like when Michigan, before they won the national championship, they were calling for Harbaugh, but it's like who's going to come in and be better? And now
he's going to do better.
Ohio State is the same way, and Ryan Day is. I'm pretty sure he's only lost 3 or 4 games outside of Michigan.
Yeah, I think it's 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So who's going to be better?
No, yeah. So. And that's the thing with a lot of this is when you have a guy, it's very Bears, for example, they had Lovie Smith, who was 10-6. They fired him. I think they've had a winning record since, and it's been 10 years. You never know right. You never know what you're going to get. So I think Sirianni's doing a great job. And I did hear something about him and Hurts having a kumbaya during their bye week or something or whatever, and that's why they've been playing so well since their bye week. They amended whatever their their fractures in their relationship were. I do think I'd give the edge to Hurts from a quarterback standpoint. Like, again, if you put them on the same teams, I think if you put them on the same team, like if you were to take them out of where they're at and just quarterback itself, I'd probably go with Hurts just from, his athletic standpoint compared to Goff's.
I mean, they do completely different things. They do
You're right.
completely different
It's hard
things.
to compare. Yeah, it's hard to compare. I would give O-line probably to Detroit, but weapons is tough because Saquon, I think, is the best out of the running backs by far. Like, I think he's I actually do think he has somewhat of a legitimate case for MVP this year.
I heard a good case today why he shouldn't be, and the quarterback has the ball in his hand every play. Besides that, the Eagles have the most efficient play in all of football is the tush push, and Saquon is not a part of it at all.
That I like that.
So
I like that actually. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Well, not
because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, why couldn't he win? And then someone said that. I'm like, I didn't say that, but I heard someone say that, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. And then you got.
And plus, if you took Josh Allen off the Bills and put Minshew, with the Bills, they wouldn't even be 500. And if you take Saquon off the Eagles, they're what 10.
Put in Alexander, put in Madison or some like similar type as Gardner Minshew.
Put in Chuba Hubbard. He's playing too good.
No, he's doing good. I'm thinking Alexander Madison. Go Raiders. Same thing. Just take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they'd probably be 9-3.
No. Yeah. They would. Yeah. Honestly, they might win that game because Saquon dropped that pass in week 2 or whatever it was that lost them that game on fourth down. Crazy. So maybe they would have won that game. No, I'm just kidding. I do think they wouldn't be the same without Saquon just because some of those games.
No. But I don't think
I get your point.
They'd be 9-3, maybe 8-4.
I get your
win
point.
The division.
The quarterback is just way more valuable to their team than running backs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool that there's someone else besides a quarterback that is on because it typically goes. It's some crazy stat, like 10 in the last 11 years. The MVP has been the quarterback on the team, either NFC or AFC, the 1 or 2 seed. And that's the only people who win MVP because they're the best player on the best team, which I get. It makes a lot of sense. But if you're talking most valuable,
let's finish the Eagles thing and then let's talk about the MVP. But
yeah,
I do agree with that. But yeah, the Eagles look amazing, and they have Carolina this weekend, and I think
their schedule's pretty easy.
Favorites. Finishing
their schedule,
especially with the Cowboys being down and
Giants.
I think they already played the Giants twice.
No, they got them last week of the season. So they have Panthers. They have Panthers, Cowboys, Giants. Yeah, they'll probably sit depending unless they're trying to play for the 1 seed.
Well, they do have
Commanders. Yep, Steelers, Commanders in there. I think they'll blow out the Commanders again. Personally, I don't think that'll be much. Steelers will be interesting though because Steelers have a pretty solid defense, and again, they might have the second best coach in Mike Tomlin. So,
I agree.
But I'm all in on the Eagles. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if Dan Campbell's the best coach. Like, I think he's perfect for Detroit. And again, it's all the situation you're in, right? Like, he sucked his first season because the team sucked. Like, if you don't have good players, you're not going to be a good coach.
Well, that's what Nick Saban always said. He's like, what did he say? I'm gonna butcher the quote, so I'm not gonna say it. But anyway, yeah, he basically said he can't play bad players play well or something like that. So.
Yeah, right. If you're not a good player, like if you have a shitty roster, you're not going to be a good. Like the Panthers, Canales, the coach. Like, is he?
Look at Bill Belichick. Like he had no one, and then they fire him.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
and now they're thinking about firing Mayo.
Yeah, well, that one I kind of get. I think there's some stuff going on there that is just situational. There are certain things like situational awareness and like all that kind of stuff. And he said something along the lines of like, if I can't do anything for the players once they cross the line, I can't. They've already been coached. I can't do anything to help them. It's like, all right. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. That's not. I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
I get it, but
But yeah, Eagles by far look like a juggernaut. I think Eagles Lions best 2 teams in the NFL right now, then Bills, and I expect that to be the NFC Championship game. And I hope that's the NFC Championship game. Like that's what I want to see.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be honestly nerve-wracking. Even though I have a futures on the Packers, but that's only because I don't want to, you know how it is. Betting for your own team, you're like you see too much and you just don't believe as much as the outside. Because I'm sure people in Detroit are like, yeah, we're good, but let's hold the phone. Yeah,
they see their flaws more so than anyone else. Because if you don't watch them, if you don't watch them, you don't see you don't see what happens on a down to down basis and where the holes are. You just see, like, I just see the highlight plays. Holy shit, they won again. Although the Lions Bears game that got Matt Eberflus fired I was in a house full of Bears fans because we were there I was with a bunch of my family for Thanksgiving. Holy shit. They should have lost that game. They could have easily lost that game. That was nuts. So I do have a question. Do you put that on Caleb Williams or do you put that on Eberflus? Or a mix of both?
That's coaching.
Yeah.
Call the timeout.
Yeah, I do think part of it falls on Caleb. Not a ton of it. Like, I think it's more coaching.
I mean, I would say it's 9.
I'd go 70-30.
Okay.
I go 70-30. But yes, I just think it got deflected all off onto Eberflus. I mean, he's a terrible, like, he seems like a nice guy.
They needed like a hard reason to get rid of him. They got it. So
yeah.
So in their eyes, they won. But I mean, I was thinking about this. Do you think, so all the hype with Chicago coming into the season, do you think during training camp, Eberflus kind of knew, like, I don't think we're going to be that good. I'm going to lose my job.
No, I don't think so. I think they thought they were going to be really good. There was a lot of hype around Chicago.
I understand that from the media, but I'm saying, like, for him, he's probably thinking, like, if I don't win the division,
I'm getting fired.
I'm getting fired.
Well, because that's what it last year.
Well, they chose him over Justin Fields, and I think they made the right choice, obviously, because I think Caleb Williams has shown some good flashes, and if he had any kind of offensive line, it'd be decent. He'd be decent. It's kind of like the Bengals. Like, if they had something on defense, sorry to bring it up again, they'd be good, but they don't. So anyway, let's get to the MVP really quick.
I was going to say, real quick, to answer your question on that, I think, yes, he probably did think he was going to get, like, I think he felt a lot of pressure, which probably is part of the reason why some of these decisions were made, is because he's just, like, I think he was trying too hard to focus on the right decision rather than just coaching. But
I think a coach has a good gauge on their team. Yes. And yes, they have all these, like, names. I get that. But also, like, we can't block anyone. We're not going to win 10 games.
Line's really bad. Yeah, line's really bad. But that's why they should have fired him last year. You're bringing in a new quarterback. You're drafting Caleb Williams. Bring in your coach when you're developing the quarterback year one instead of firing him mid-season 3 year one. Like, it's so stupid to me. But I digress.
I agree. Maybe they just didn't like. I don't know. Maybe Vrabel's a good. I'm trying to think of, like, good coaches that could come in.
They said they want, like, a leader of men, which that would be
Vrabel.
You just need to make sure your offensive coordinator. They have Thomas Brown. I don't know if you can demote him now that he went from quarterback's coach to OC to head coach in, like, 17 days, which is insane.
So crazy.
So I don't know if you can, like, demote him back down to offensive coordinator, but you're probably going to lose him at the end of the year if you don't keep him as head coach. Like, that's part of the risk, because he'll probably.
Really?
I think so. I don't like. Would you go back? Well, no. Yeah. Would you go? If you got promoted to head coach and then at the end of the year you've interviewed and they said no, we don't want you. You're a young up and coming offensive coordinator. Would you leave to go to a different? If they said, hey, we want to demote you back to offensive coordinator, would you go somewhere else or would you stay with the same team?
If I was in, like, the Bears situation, or just any situation.
Any situation.
All right. Well,
I guess Bears is different because they have Caleb.
I was gonna say, so, like, they have, like, if you get a new coach, better offensive line, it's gonna be better than the year before. I would stay.
Yeah,
I'd be like, fine. Yeah, I mean, how old is he? He's like 38, 39?
Thomas Brown. Yeah, he's a young guy.
Yeah, so I would stay, and I mean, I just interim thing is, like, you're not. It's kind of like the Dan Rizzi thing. It's like, are you like, yeah, I'm here. I'm a placeholder. I'm a placeholder for the new guy. I'm not going to be the guy. Everyone knows he's not going to be the guy. Like, I would stay. Who cares? It's not like if it's a hit on your ego, that's on you, and you probably should be head coach if you're going to take it that personally.
Yeah, and he is a Sean McVay descendant. I didn't realize this. I was just reading up on him a little bit. He's part of the team that beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. God, all these Bengals flashbacks, man. It's
Bengals
heartbreaking.
podcast.
Heartbreaking.
Bengals podcast.
But yes, okay. I just interested. Like, to me originally, like, I feel like this happens a lot with interim head coaches, and they end up leaving, going elsewhere because they end up cleaning out the whole staff anyway. But this is one that's. I think that this is a head coaching interview for him. Like, he's interviewing right now for a head coaching job. Not only the Bears, but other head coaching opportunities. So just interesting.
My thing is, I just don't know if there's going to be enough jobs for that guy.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
That's a
all
fair
I'm
point.
saying.
Bengals maybe. Maybe will Zach Taylor be gone? Come to Cincinnati.
How
M.
many year,
Johnson.
how many years left does Zach Taylor have?
I think he signed an extension after the Super Bowl. I think he signed a 5-year, probably 2. So yeah, he's not getting fired because they're not going to pay him
No,
for not working. Yeah.
he's gonna be there for another 2 years.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, so
yeah.
enjoy
All right.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have fun. MVP.
Yep.
So we already talked about Saquon. I mean, I think it's only 2 people now. Like I think Lamar's kind of put himself out of it because,
Really?
well, yeah, they're 8-5. They're gonna be a 6 seed.
But his stats. That's all I've heard is stats.
But you look at last year.
Josh Allen doesn't have his stats.
Do you remember what happened last year?
Yeah, I know. I mean,
It's the exact opposite.
CMC should have won it last year. If
Yes.
there was a non-quarterback to win it, it was last year.
Last year. Yeah, I agree.
But what's your case on Josh Allen?
Kind of what I said before. He's going to have significantly better statistics than Patrick Mahomes this year, and he's either going to be the 1 or 2 seed in the AFC. So I just think it comes down to
Devil's advocate, really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
But his stats aren't as good as other guys.
Yeah, but look at last year.
Look at last year.
Lamar Jackson stats were terrible compared to Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, even Dak Prescott. Like he threw for like 19 touchdowns. It was like one of the lowest touchdown outputs for a MVP winner in NFL history. And he won MVP because he was the 1 seed and got the bye, and they went like 13-3 or whatever, 13-4 or 14-3.
What happened in the playoffs?
Yeah, they lost.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's what happens with him.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
So you think he's out of it though? What if they went? What if
they went out and if they went out, that means they will be 12-5. I still don't think it's good enough. I
heard someone say, it kind of made me laugh. I think it was FS1. Again, just getting clips from my friends one of my friends is like diehard Bills fan, really rooting hard for Josh Allen to win MVP. I don't think MVP matters. It's a narrative award. It's, if someone wins it 2 years in a row, they're probably not going to win it the third year because people get, voters fatigue. And it's it kind of sucks that it's kind of bullshit like that. And honestly, I do not think media members should be voting.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
We need
players.
There needs to be like a committee or something, or like some kind of like electoral college between coaches and players. Something.
Yes, no, I agree. It should be the people who are.
It should not be. It should not be media members. That blows my mind that's how it works. But the NFL doesn't want to pay people and whatever. But I heard someone I saw this clip on FS1, and they said the only thing Josh Allen is going for him is his consistency. In my head, I'm like, that's the most important. Being consistent.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing to say. Like, that's the only thing he's going for him. I'd rather him go out, throw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, or 3 touchdowns, 1 interception every game, then have him go 5 touchdowns one game and 1 interception, and like 1 touchdown, 1 interception another game. I'd rather just be consistent, because at least you know what you're getting. And Josh Allen's been that guy. And that was his knock. He would turn it over too much, and he wasn't consistent. And is he, accurate, or can he win the big game? But consistency is like, if you're consistently good, you're going to win championships. I mean, that's why Mahomes is so good. He's just consistent. So, I think he's going to win it, especially if they, kind of take care of business. But he deserves it. Watching him play is unbelievable. I tell you all the time, I'm like, I think he's there's times where I think he's the best quarterback in the league. There's 2 guys I'd probably take in front of him, and that's Burrow and Mahomes, but he's so good. And it's unbelievable, and how big he is, and he's mobile. Someone said that he's a mobile Ben Roethlisberger, and that was like on point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Ben was great at like eluding pressure and stuff, but he couldn't run the ball.
Yeah,
Josh Allen does both. Snail. Yeah. So to your stats point, I pulled him up real quick. He's 14th in yards, 2,691. This is just passing. Or 6th in touchdown passes with 20, and he's tied 67th with 5 interceptions. But his QBR is second in the NFL with 74.5. I do think he has like how many rushing touchdowns he has.
All of his interceptions are tips or drops by the receiver.
Yeah, and then how many rushing touchdowns does he have? He has 6 rushing touchdowns. So he has 26 total touchdowns, which is still good. Like his stats aren't bad by any means, but again, like I kind of throw stats out after last year's MVP when Lamar Jackson won because he was nowhere near the top
I mean,
end.
if it was a
And it's
stats
his
award,
category.
Joe Burrow would win.
Exactly. He's first in
He's 4 and
essentially
8.
every quarter. Yeah, he's
I'd rather,
first in every
hey,
category.
guess what? I'd rather be 10-2 than 4 and 8.
Yes, I'd rather have Josh Allen stats and be 10-2
Shannon
than 4 and
Sharp.
8.
I don't know if you saw this clip on First Take.
I couldn't watch it. Yeah, he had pissed me off.
He's an idiot.
Yeah,
that's crazy. And the fact that people don't think wins is a quarterback stat is crazy to me because they have the ball in their hands every play, right? Obviously, they can't play defense. It's a little different, but they have the ball in their hand every play. So they're involved in every play, whether it's just handing it off. You see fumbled snaps all the time, or you see, bad handoffs all the time. So it's a big deal. And then obviously they dictate what happens. They have to make the decisions. They have to, you have to throw it further than 3 yards, air yards. I mean, I was arguing with a buddy who thinks Lamar should be MVP this year, which I think is insane, but Lamar just dinks and dunks it all the time. And Josh Allen, like I've come on here and I've said that I don't think interceptions are a bad stat unless it's egregious, but that just shows you're taking chances and you're trying to make plays. And obviously there are times where, you can be like Jameis Winston and throw for 500 yards and, pick sixes all the time, but you could also be Josh Allen and, throw bombs and, maybe sometimes it gets tipped or the receiver, doesn't get there. I don't know. I think it's like when people were praising CJ Stroud for not throwing an interception. I think that's dumb. It's like, is he taking chances or is he just, throwing slant patterns and, little out routes? But,
that's what they have. Like they have those other stats that are, all these people yards. You follow. Yeah. Adjusted net air yards, EPA per play and all that kind of stuff that take all that stuff into consideration. Adjusted net yards.
I got lost in what I was arguing. Wins as quarterback stat. Pitchers in the MLB, wins and loss. Pitchers are counted for wins and losses. They don't hit, but they have the ball in their hands. I mean, sometimes they're going to get 5 wins. Sometimes they might go 9-0, but have a 5 ERA. That's just, they just have good offense, but that catches up to you. But all I'm saying is when you have the ball in your hands that much and you dictate the game as much as the quarterback does, wins and losses should be a stat. So I think that it shouldn't be the start of the argument for MVP, but if it comes down to like, oh, but I have 4 more touchdowns than you, then go to the record and be like, but I have 1 more games.
No, it's definitely important. It's definitely important. You can't, and that's why it's gone to someone who has been the first or second seed in their conference in the last 10 years. So
yeah, well, we should.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, Lamar's stats are 10 times better than they were last year, and I don't think he's going to win MVP. So
yeah, well,
it's funny seeing Ravens fans.
Derrick Henry that helps.
It makes a big difference, and it's funny seeing Ravens fans they're like, well, Lamar doesn't deserve the MVP. What about these stats? And people are like, all right, this is the exact opposite of last year. Josh Allen had the stats last year, but he didn't have the wins. So
yeah, exactly.
You're just
So what are we talking about?
Yeah. But all right, should we get to bets?
Yeah, I just realized how long we've gone without doing bets. All right, let's read them off. What did we go last week?
So I went 2-1 last week. So that brings me to 29-10 for the year, which I place all these bets, but man, I should have put $1,000 down on all these. I would be feeling real good right now. In hindsight, I mean, I will probably never go 29-10 over 40 bets again.
Not with that attitude.
And you went 1-2 to go 19-17-1. So still positive record, which is good.
Yeah, we both kind of had a weird feeling about last week, but
yeah. Well, we only we kind of said it. We were only picking from we didn't want to touch the Thanksgiving games because we did some parlays for the Thanksgiving games. So we only chose Sunday's games. I think we probably would have chose differently. And in that we hit our second group parlay bet of second week in a row where our Thanksgiving parlay hit, which was awesome. So to that point, we probably would have taken those games because those are games we felt confident in.
We're 2-1.
We're 2-1, which is awesome. Yeah.
In our parlays. So
that's pretty good.
I think both of us had a good week.
Mm-hmm. Great week.
Good week. So our parlay was under 52 in the Bears Lions, Packers -2.5, and Cowboys -6.
4.5. Was it 6?
I did -6, but I think we did -4.5. I got greedy. Well, but
To that, I didn't even realize I said this on the pod last week, and I realized that after I was looking back at my bets, I took the over in that game too as part of it. So I really did a 4-leg that was like plus 700, like plus 777 or something. So I said it wrong because I didn't realize I had clicked the over of that game, and it hit. So like it was a
Amazing.
fantastic bet. So yeah, we did hit that one, and then I know on the bets I tweeted out, I think Thanksgiving and the day and Black Friday, like player props were like 6 and 6. I probably forced some because I was trying to do like 3 per game, which is probably too many. Shouldn't be doing that. But 6 and 6, so even money. And then on Sunday and Monday, I think we went 9 and 2 or 7. It was at least 7 and 2 on player props, which is pretty good. And we hit a Bengals, 1,200 parlay plus 1,200 parlay, and was about 6 T Higgins yards away from hitting another plus 1,100 parlay for the Bengals game. So we had some good bets this weekend.
Yeah. When I'm at home, I like to, in Ohio, I can't do it out in California, but I was placing some bets and I hit a Josh Allen anytime touchdown, Juwan Jennings over 50, 50 yards receiving, and Bills covering -6.
Mm-hmm.
So that helped.
That's
and
good.
Then my big
You
one.
hit it. You hit another one. So Mike hit another one where we didn't talk about this game, but it was the Jameis game, and I love watching Jameis play. So I tailed this bet, so I hit this one too. Mike, he did -6.5 for Denver and Nick Chubb anytime touchdown, and we were texting each other back and forth during the game, like, where the hell's Nick Chubb? Like, why is he not playing? He catches a pass from like 15 yards out, which was nuts, for a touchdown, and then
after he didn't play the whole first half.
Yeah, he didn't play it all the first half. He gets a receiving touchdown, and then I thought it was over going like when Cleveland was driving at the end of the game, and Jameis throws a pick six. So then it's now 9. I think it got to 9 points, right? I think it ended up 41-32. So it was a losing bet.
1 yard line.
And no, he threw a pick six, and then he got to the 1 on the next drive, and he threw a pick six. Like, it's just unbelievable, the Jameis roller coaster. But that's why he's the beginning of this pod, because he's the GOAT. So
he's our guy. He wins his bets.
Yeah.
When I saw someone say that I don't want him to be my quarterback, but I want him to be someone else's team's quarterback.
Yes, that is perfect. Like, he's the best quarterback to watch when you don't have to cheer. Like, you just want to cheer for him.
You want him to play. You want him to play purely on just because, like, he's electrifying, because you never know what's going to happen. And then, like, if you put him in front of a microphone, it's going to be something unbelievable.
Yeah, what do you say? I'm just praying the Lord delivers me away from pick sixes or something. Like, it's just unbelievable, the quotes that come out of that guy.
So
I love that. That's a perfect way to describe him. He's like the guy you just don't want as your quarterback, but just wish he was every other team's quarterback when you watch football. So you could just watch. Like, some of those throws he makes are unbelievable, and then some of them are the worst throws I've ever seen in my entire life. It's the 30 for 30 year will never be forgotten. 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions, never be forgotten.
I mean, never a dull moment with that guy.
No. But
all right, let's do our draft. You get to pick first.
Yep, I get to pick first. So we cannot do the Packers-Lions game, which is a great game. And I already said I would take the over in that game. I got to figure out what to bet in that game. I don't know, +3.
I need you to move your phone away from your mic a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Let's see. Ooh.
This is the first time looking at these games. There's a lot of...
Yeah, I haven't looked at them either. I usually look at them before.
Jesus. But... Yeah, you're late on placing your bets this week.
I'm going to go...
How are the 49ers 4-point favorites?
Yeah, I guess it's in San Fran.
I don't like any of these games.
Yeah, these are tough.
These are brutal.
I'm gonna. Ooh, no, I'm not gonna do that. I was about to be so confident. I was like, no, I'm gonna go Bills -3.5.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Bills against.
It's gonna be a lot of Bills fans there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Bills fans in LA.
That's honestly the only reason why, is because, well, I do think the Bills are a better team, but just because, like, the Rams are at home, but is it really home? Especially the Bills. So I'm going to go Bills -3.5 against LA, and -112. I've also noticed something with my bets. I take a lot of road teams. Like, I've noticed that, like, a lot of my bets have been road teams, which is nuts. Yeah, which is kind of wild, but yeah.
All right, I'm going to go Buccaneers -6.5 against the Raiders -115.
Buccaneers -6.5. Okay, I like that one. I like that one. -6.5.
I mean, it's a touchdown. Yeah.
I don't even see that one. Oh, there it is. -115. Okay.
I have no idea who I'm gonna pick next.
All right, let's see. You don't want Eagles minus 12.5?
With Bryce Young's spinning it.
Yeah. See, like, I want to take, like, I like the Vikings -6 just because the Falcons have looked so bad, but the Vikings haven't looked that good. Like, that's part of the, like, they've been eking out wins the last few weeks. So I just don't know if I want to touch that.
Yeah, I know.
Jets,
I was looking
Dolphins,
at that
on
too.
Dolphins look
Plus,
so
it's
bad.
Cousins' revenge game.
I'm going to go Steelers -6.5 against Cleveland.
Okay.
I just think the Steelers take care of the ball a lot better than Jameis does. They got a good defense. I do think them losing, if the Steelers would have won earlier, like a couple weeks ago, I probably wouldn't be taking them here, but I just can't see them losing to the Browns twice. And I think the snow had a lot to do with that game and why they lost. So I'm going to go Steelers -6.5. If it was 7, I probably wouldn't take it, but since it's 6.5, I'm going to take it.
All right, I got my next one.
All right, let's hear it. Yep.
I'm going to go over 44.5 Seahawks Cardinals at -110.
44.5 over. Okay. Was it -110? What's the reason for that one?
Seahawks can't stop anyone. I mean, they let the Jets score a bunch of points on them, and Cardinals offense can get going. Seahawks offense can get going. Both those defenses just stink.
It's fair. Part of me wants to do the same thing with the Bengals and Cowboys. 49.5. Because the Bengals are going to put up some points. Like, they're going to score.
They might put up 50.
That's what I mean. And the Bengals defense sucks. Like, the Cowboys are going to score. They're going to score at least 20.
If the Bengals put up 50, the Cowboys are going to put up 52.
52. Oh, I think I texted you that during the Bengals game. Like, when it was 14-7 Bengals leading halfway through the first quarter, that they were going to lose and score over 30 again.
Let me check the receipts.
I think I did text you that. All right, let me pick my last. God, this is a tough week. Saints, Giants.
This is a tough week, man. Well, plus we have so many teams on bye too, which is.
So the one I was saying earlier that I was like, actually, no, never mind, was Titans -3.5. And then I was like, am I really about to take the Titans -3.5 again? They're playing Jaguars without Trevor Lawrence. So I was like, am I really about to take the Titans as 3.5-point favorites? Let's see.
You said Bengals going to lose after scoring 30.
What time was that at?
That was at, it says 11 a.m. here, so it was at 2 o'clock.
My time? Or Eastern. Yeah, so it was an hour into the game. So I said that very early on in the game.
Yeah. And then you said Bengals defense is so bad. And then you said, let me do a Bengals are dead to start the pod this week. And I said, down.
There you go. All right, let's see. Last pick. God, this is hard this week. I don't like this week.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal.
You know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go Titans -3.5 against Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is out. Mac Jones has looked terrible. Jaguars. Titans have at least showed some sort of fight. Levis has had his moments. I just think they're a better team here, and I'm going to take them -3.5. I hate that I did that. Like, that sucks. I just placed a bet on the Titans-Jaguars game in December.
Well, now you have a reason to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
I really don't know. Like, I'm looking at the Saints game. Like, why would I ever do that?
I just bet on Titans-Jaguars, so.
Yeah, I know. And then Dolphins are 6-point favorites, not touching that.
No, that's a tough one. Although Jets are dead.
I've won 3 weeks in a row betting on this team.
Eagles?
Give me the Eagles.
Yep. I knew it. Eagles -12. Dude, the Panthers are playing well.
Whatever. The Eagles are playing better.
Okay.
Eagles are the best team in the league. They're going to win by 30.
Eagles -12.5, and that is -110. You didn't want to take the Bengals?
That's
the over?
No.
Yeah.
Because, hey, the defense might show up this week.
Yeah, that'd be hilarious, wouldn't it?
No, you'd cry.
No, I wouldn't. It's over. It's over. All right, so now we got to do a.
I want to read them off.
Okay, yeah, read them off. All right, so Mike had Bucks -6.5, 40 over 45.5 or 44.5 in the Seahawks Cardinals game, and then Eagles -12.5. I don't think your track record with these big spreads is very good so far.
It is with the Eagles. Hey, if I don't hit this week, then I know whose fault it is. Yeah.
Bills -3.5 for me, Steelers -6.5, and then Titans -3.5.
I think the only other one I did, the big spread.
Lions, that hit. Yeah.
And the Chiefs, the one that didn't hit
The Chiefs didn't hit, yeah.
against the Cardinals, or against the Panthers.
Panthers, yeah. You had Chiefs that was minus 11. The Detroit minus 13 hit. But yeah, the rest of them have all been kind of normal. I don't know why I said that. I was reaching there, but
You were just thinking that one Chiefs game.
yes.
And I should have known because
the other thing I thought
the Chiefs don't cover.
The other thing that was funny was Mike texted me on Sunday, Jets are back. And then they proceeded to have one of the worst losses
I will say
ever shortly after that.
there was a little bit of sarcasm behind that text. But right as I sent that, the Seahawks came back and won.
I think as you sent that, they were up. I think they were up 21 or 21 nothing, 21-7, and Jets were about to score again, and then Rodgers missed a wide open Garrett Wilson in the end zone and then threw a pick six.
Yeah.
And then the game was like, hey. Yeah. All right, so now we got to do our parlay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was thinking about the Jaguars Titans game.
We're gonna place 2 bets on this game.
Yeah. What if we put that to minus 2.5
for the Titans?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. All right. So we'll start with that. Do minus 2.5.
And then
I do really like the over of the Bengals Cowboys game.
All right, let's do that.
I can tone it down a little bit.
At 49. I like that.
Yeah, let's do 49. So what's 49? That's 28, 21. Let's do 48.5. Okay.
Then what about Chiefs minus 2.5? You don't want to.
I don't know I think the Chargers might win. I just okay. I'm not. Okay. I don't want to touch that game. I just think Chiefs have been playing so poorly. The Chargers have been playing pretty well. It makes me a little nervous.
What about Cardinals minus 2.5?
I like Cardinals minus 2.5.
All right. What does it get us?
Plus 446. We're shooting plus 500 or higher, right? Let's do. Let me see.
What about?
You know what, let me put this back up to 49 instead of 48.5. See what that gets us.
I just don't trust Cooper Rush.
Do you not want to do that one? We can do that one. We can get rid of that one.
What about over 46 in the Cardinals Panthers? Or I keep calling them Cardinals, Panthers Eagles.
I do like that. I do like over 46.5 there.
Just over 46. I mean, we could do
over 46. No, let's do 46. So minus 108. So we're at 494. So if we did over 46 for Panthers Eagles, minus 2.5 for Cardinals, minus 2.5 for Titans, you're at 494.
What if it's over 46.5?
Let's see, 46.5. You're just trying to get that extra 6.
I just want to see that 5 in front.
All right, let's see. So we do 46.5. I think the odds just switched. Somehow the over 46.5 is minus 110, and the over 46 is minus 108. That makes no sense.
All right, we'll just keep it at 46 then.
That makes no sense.
None. No sense.
47 goes to, that doesn't make any sense. All right, we'll just keep it at that. All right, so it's Titans minus 2.5, Cardinals minus 2.5, and over 46 in Panthers Eagles.
Love it.
I like it. Do you want to do a anytime TD parlay, 3-leg?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I'm just placing all the bets.
Yeah.
We're going to do 3?
Let's do 3.
All right. So let's put one for the Bengals game. Let's do what do we got here?
I'm doing AJ Brown. He's due for a touchdown. He's playing the Panthers. I'm taking AJ Brown.
AJ Brown?
Yeah.
Hold on. Chase Brown?
No, I'm not. Sorry, I wasn't talking Bengals game. And I'm like, one of the picks I want to make is AJ Brown.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah. Okay.
AJ Brown. Okay, I like that. I mean,
yeah.
I'm in.
Yep.
All right. You want to do Jamar or T. Higgins?
Jamar scored 13 touchdowns. He scored in like 5 straight games. Dallas's defense kind of sucks. I just feel like they might try and pat stats a little bit. Fuck, what am I saying? Stat pad. What's his stat pad?
Pad stats.
It's like
either way.
Pass rush rolling weight. Yeah. But he's minus 165. Like I just like that's insane. That's terrible. I was
thinking T. Higgins at plus 135.
T. Higgins in their last 5 or 6 games has out targeted Jamar Chase when they played together.
What do you think?
All right, I'm in. I like T. Higgins. I'll go plus 135. I also don't hate CeeDee Lamb at plus 145 because the Bengals defense is ass.
I don't trust Cooper Rush.
It's fair. Okay, fair enough. All right, so we got 2. We're at plus 381. One more.
Plus 381?
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker or James Conner?
Ooh.
Or neither?
Let's go Kenneth Walker.
All right.
When's the last time he scored a touchdown, though?
It's been a minute.
What about
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill against the Jets?
His hand, I'm out.
Okay.
I mean, Devon Achane is
What about
automatic.
Jonnu Smith?
Lock it in, dude. That guy's a touchdown machine.
Let's please.
That guy only catches touchdowns. It's unbelievable.
He's plus 175 too.
Man.
All right, so we have AJ Brown, T. Higgins, and Jonnu Smith for plus 1224.
My God. All right.
Yeah. All right, I like that.
That's amazing. All right. Follow
Jonnu's
us
a
at
little bit
Athlete Pod on Twitter /X, at Traveling Athlete Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And we will be back next week. Brian?
Thanks. See ya.